Hi, welcome to today's morning power up call. As you can tell, I needed to do something about Genghis Khan today. I absolutely had to. This finally came in the mail. This is as genuine as it can get. I like this is fun, right? I like finding fun things and using fun things. These are all reminders of lessons for me, right? Like I'm obviously not going to walk around wearing this thing, but it's fun to do every so often for a power up call. It's fun to do every so often to just kind of remind me of these powerful lessons that I personally have taken from Genghis Khan and from other people. This might be like really loud on the mic because I have to use the AirPods. But these are powerful lessons. Like these are anchors. These are things that remind me of insights that are very useful. And today we're going to be talking about one of them. One of probably the greatest lessons that I personally have taken from learning about Genghis Khan and have applied to my life, and it has been especially useful within the realms of copywriting. So we're going to talk about that today. Let me just go ahead. The reason I'm late is I wanted to share I wanted to bring another resource into this. So it took me a second to grab it. There we go. I've got it. So I'll share that in a second. Just want to make sure I have it all set up. Okay. So let's dive in. Let's talk about this. First of all, if this is messing with the audio at all, because I am using the AirPods as mic, just let me know and I'll take it off. It's also getting pretty warm. It's a fun thing. Anyways, let's talk about Genghis Khan. Now, I am a I am a student of success. Like when I see someone being extremely successful, when I see someone achieving something great, I try and figure out why they did it and how they did it. And Genghis Khan is probably like one of the most successful people that's ever existed on the planet as far as what he was able to accomplish. The amount of work he was able to do is absolutely insane. Now, there's a story from his life. This is not one of the big stories. This is not about him conquering China or showing up and telling everyone in the whatever land he conquered in like Turkey or whatever that he's the punishment of God. This is a very simple story, and it's actually a story of him making a mistake, right? And how he learned from the mistake. But the lesson inside and sort of the insight into how his brain works is what's valuable. Now, most people when they look at Genghis Khan, they're like, "Oh, he had a bunch of wives," or "Oh, he conquered this," or "Oh, genocide." They like look at him through that way. I look at him as a man. I try and figure out how his brain works, right? I try to understand how his brain works so that I can emulate that in my life, my own conquest, right? I'm not conquering countries or planets, but I'm conquering things in my own life. When Genghis Khan he just kind of established himself in Mongolia, there was this neighboring tribe that he was allied with, and there was this guy. I can't say his name. Like you guys know how bad I am with names. His name was Tetembre or something like that, and he was a shaman. I'll call him a shaman, right? Well, but he was a fake shaman. He was using his like connection with the divine to kind of lie to get Genghis Khan and the people and influence them. And he told Genghis Khan that his brother Kassar, his half brother Kassar, he told him that he had a vision that if the two of them lived, the Kassar would eventually rule the Mongols, right? And he would kill Genghis Khan. And obviously, this guy, this shaman, was trying to create division between Genghis Khan and his allies, between his supporters. So Genghis Khan heard about this. He took his soldiers and he rode immediately to his brother Kassar's place. And he had the intention to execute him. He was going to kill his half brother because of this prophecy, right? He wanted to preserve his empire, right? Preserve his kingdom. Genghis Khan's mother heard of this and she raced to the scene as well, right? So she raced there, and by the time she busted into the yurt door, and Genghis Khan had his brother tied up, he had his cap taken away from him, and he was just sitting there. He was sitting there about to be executed, right? And the mom and his Genghis Khan's mother goes up. She unties the youngest son's. She unties his stuff. She gives him his hat back, and she turns to Genghis Khan, and they do this all the time in like old time stuff. Like this happens in the Iliad. This happens when so she like bared her breast to her son and is like, "Hey, you guys both drank from these, right?" It's a common thing that the mothers did back then. Thank goodness they don't do it now. Um, but she basically kind of reprimanded him for hurting him. Like she's like, "Hey, he was with you from the very beginning when we were running away from everybody. It was just us. We're eating rats. Like he was there. It was him like shooting his bows accurate and his arrows accurately that saved our lives so many times. How could he ever betray you? How could you betray the family, right?" And his mom reprimands him, justly so, right? Like he was making a major mistake. And the story goes that Genghis Khan sat there. He sat there and he listened to his mother. And then he said, and I'm gonna pull it up so I get it exactly right. He said, "I was frightened when I acted thus. Now I am ashamed." And he turned and he walked out of the yurt. "I was frightened when I acted thus. Now I am ashamed." Genghis Khan valued bravery and courage above all else, and fear was obviously something he was seeking to root out from himself. It was something he found great shame in acting in fear. He was actively analyzing his life and analyzing his actions to determine if he was being brave or afraid, if he was acting out of courage or out of fear. And when he saw that he was about to make a rash mistake based on fear, he was ashamed. He felt poorly of himself. This is absolutely key, and I've sought to do this in my own life. I analyze my actions. I analyze my thoughts. You would be surprised how much fear rears its ugly head on the micro actions you perform. If you look at your life, every time you sit down to start writing, every time you do research, every time you reach out to a prospect, every time you come close to that being in the arena and doing something important, there's always that fear that pushes you away. It's a constant sort of force that exists inside of our world, but it is not an unstoppable force. It's something that you can overcome. And it's something that Genghis Khan actively sought to do in his life. It's something I actively seek to do in my own life. There's another little quote that has been helpful for me in this process, and I want to share this with you real quick. Let me see if I can pull this up. Let's see if I can Mr. Producer it up. Get the right thing, the right place, the right time. Bingo. All right, you guys should be able to see this. This is a quote from Dune, the sci-fi classic by Frank Herbert, and this is a litany against fear that one of the groups in there would say, and it's actually super legit. Like this is actually a great quote. It's a little litany, a little mantra. It says, "I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain." One of the reasons that people give in to fear, one of the reasons that people lose themselves in fear is that they kind of identify themselves as that fear, that feeling. They make that feel like it's actually them. And you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not fear. Fear is sort of a primal reaction to things that isn't really you. You are more than that. There's more to you than just the light, that little feeling of fear. And if you can realize that whenever you come in contact with it, when you're sitting there to do important work, to do important things, when you're sitting in bed, you know you need to get up and get going, right? And it's too comfortable. That's a form of fear. That's a form of being afraid to face the harsh realities of the world. If you can overcome that and remove that fear and just move ahead anyways, let the fear just fade, kind of pass over and go past you and not be there anymore, and take action, you can accomplish great things. You can conquer the world, right? You can conquer your world. Now, I've hinted at a few things I'm going to be sharing in a deeper lesson with you guys. I did a poll yesterday inside of the campus. I know yesterday I teased, hey, I've got a big sort of mindset thing I'm going to reveal to you guys and work with you guys with over the next couple power up calls. And I did a poll inside of the campus, and you guys would prefer I do a private Zoom lesson where I just like break it down, we answer questions, and I lay the whole thing out instead of breaking it out over a bunch of morning power calls. And we're going to do that. I have kind of touched on it a little bit today. I've hinted at it, but I'm going to give you guys sort of the math behind it, the actual way to implement some of these lessons in your life. But for now, take this lesson from the Khan, take this lesson from Genghis Khan, and realize that fear is your true enemy, right? It is the thing holding you back from achieving your goals, and it is up to you to overcome fear. I don't mean this, it's not necessarily like remove it or destroy it, but rather transcend it, rise above the fear and move forward and do great things. That's where the best writing I've ever done has come from, when I've been able to set aside fear and transcend it and flow at a higher state, right? That's where my greatest achievements as a man have come from, is when I've been able to overcome and transcend fear, right? And I seek to do so every single day, moment by moment, second by second, question by question inside the Ask Professor Andrew channel. I overcome that resistance every single second. And because of that, I'm able to achieve great things. And I want you guys to do the same in your life. So analyze, what's keeping you, and a lot of people, right? You need to sit down and do some harsh analysis of your outreach. You need to do some harsh analysis of your actual copy, but you're afraid to really confront those realities, right? Overcome the fear, let it pass over, and realize that's what's key. It's the only thing standing between you and success, and just step over it. Fear is a limitation that only exists in the mind. It's something you can easily remove if you choose the brave path. My friends, hopefully this lesson is something that you can use. Hopefully this is something that allows you to analyze and find new opportunities in your life to overcome fear and to achieve and conquer and do great things. It's been a fun call. I'll talk to you guys again later today and definitely tomorrow on our next Power Up call. Let's take care. Catch you next time. Let's go get it.